Now, let your breath slow down even more than that. Feel your body sinking gently into a soft bed of grass. The grass is cool and welcoming. It gives just a little beneath your weight. Above you, there is a sky so wide and so deep, it stretches from horizon to horizon without a single seam. It is the night sky of a new land, a long, long time ago. A sky that has not yet been mapped by electric light. A sky that is still wild and gentle all at once. You can smell the pine in the earth. The pine is tall and patient. It has been standing here for generations. And the earth smells dark and sweet. It smells of fallen leaves and old roots and the quiet work of worms. And there is a hint of salt drifting in from the sea, just the faintest breath of it. It comes from the harbor, where the water meets the shore, and it mixes with the pine, creating a scent that is both fresh and ancient. There are no street lamps here, none at all, no harsh pools of yellow light, no buzzing electric wires, only starlight, one by one, quietly shining against the dark velvet above. The stars appear as if someone is lighting them with a very small, very slow match, each one a tiny flame, utterly calm, utterly constant. Your body feels lighter now, as if it is slowly dissolving into this vast, gentle night, as if the boundaries between your skin and the air are softening. You are becoming part of the grass, part of the pine-scented breeze, part of the starlight itself. This is a small colonial town, and the town is already fast asleep. Every shutter is closed, every door is latched. The wooden houses stand in quiet rows. Their roofs are shingled with cedar, silvered by the moon. Their windows glow with the faintest amber from dying embers. That amber is so soft, it does not flicker, it only breathes, like a kitten curled by the hearth. You can see the dirt road leading down to the harbor. It is pale in the starlight, winding between the houses like a lazy ribbon. And in the harbor, ships rest on the soft, breathing tide. The ships are schooners and sloops, their masts bare. Their rigging makes a gentle, irregular pattern against the stars. They rock so slowly, so gently, so very gently, up and down, as if the whole town is held in a cradle made of water and moonlight and the deep patience of the night. And the stars, they are so close tonight, closer than they have ever seemed. So many stars, like silver sand spilled from a quiet hand. You could almost reach up and catch one, but you don't need to. You only need to watch them, and let them watch over you. Under a sky like this, people's dreams grow very wide. They grow beyond the walls of their houses, beyond the fences of their farms. They grow like vines, reaching out into the dark. What do they dream of? They dream of a time when no chains will bind the spirit, when the heart can speak without fear. They dream of their children, free to choose their own path, free to walk any road, under any sky. All these dreams, now, are just soft whispers in the dark. They are carried on the night air, from house to house, from sleeper to sleeper. You hear only the lightest wind. It does not howl, it does not rush. It is a wind that understands how to be quiet. It moves around the old church spire, making a low, tender sound. That sound is like a lullaby, an old poem about liberty. The spire itself is whitewood, pointing up into the stars. It does not demand attention, it simply stands, and the wind hums around it, like a mother humming to a child who is already half asleep. There is no hurry, none at all. Time has slowed to the pace of a drifting cloud. You can take another slow breath in, feel the cool air filling your lungs. It is clean and fresh, it tastes of the forest and the sea. And breathe out the last tiny weight of the day. Let that weight fall away like a dry leaf. Let it flutter down into the darkness, and be gone. At the edge of the town, there is a little house. It is smaller than the others, but neatly kept. Its walls are clapboard, painted a soft, faded white. A single chimney rises from its roof, and a thin wisp of smoke still curls from it. That smoke smells of pine knots and old oak. Inside lives an old printer. His name is not important, but his heart is full. His fingers still carry a faint trace of ink that has printed almanacs and pamphlets and small, hopeful broadsides. Tonight, he cannot sleep yet. He pushes open his wooden window. It swings outward with a soft, familiar creak, a sound he has heard 1,000 times. And he looks at the stars. The stars look back at him, steady and kind. He rests his elbows on the windowsill. The wood is smooth from years of use. In his heart, he arranges some gentle words about life, about freedom, about the right to seek happiness. He does not write them down yet. He only turns them over in his mind, like smooth pebbles in a stream. These words will one day become a bright, bright light, a light that will shine across an entire nation. But now, they are only a warm, quiet spark under the stars, a spark that no one else can see, but the universe sees it, and holds it gently. The night grows deeper, deeper than any worry, deeper than any sorrow. Your eyelids feel so heavy now, so very heavy, as if the starlight itself is sewing them closed, with thread made of silver and silk, stitch by stitch, gently closing the day. You notice a small river at the far end of the meadow. It curls through the grass like a dark ribbon. Its surface holds a perfect reflection of the Milky Way. It looks like a river of light flowing through the grass. Two rivers, one of water, one of stars, flowing side by side, without a sound. A young man often comes to this river at night. He is tall. His hair has a touch of reddish brown. The starlight catches in it, making it gleam very softly. He looks up at the same stars you are seeing now, and his thoughts are as gentle as the river. He wonders, if the people could care for this land themselves, what kind of flowers would grow then? What kind of songs would be sung? His thoughts are like a dream not yet spoken, just quietly blooming under the night, blooming like a night, blooming serious, slowly, silently, beautifully. Now you feel yourself becoming even heavier. The ground beneath you seems to hold you more closely. The grass is like a soft, cool blanket. The air itself has a gentle weight, pressing you down into rest. You can hear the printer's window still open, and from somewhere inside his house, a clock ticks, but it ticks so slowly, so quietly. It is not counting down the hours. It is simply keeping time with the heartbeat of the world. Tick, a long pause. Talk, a long pause. The thought of that ticking clock is very soothing. It reminds you that time will go on, no matter what, and that you can let go of this day completely. The old printer's candle is still burning. Its flame barely moves, so still. It is a small flame, but it has put the man himself into a trance. His head nods just a little. His breathing slows. He is beginning to dream while still half awake, and his dreams are of words that will one day be read by millions. But for now, they are only whispers, soft, gentle whispers. The young man by the river. He has sat down now. He has chosen a rock that fits his body perfectly. The rock is still warm from the sun. It holds the memory of the day, and offers it back to him now. He leans back, and watches the sky, and he thinks about the future, not with anxiety, but with a calm, quiet anticipation, as if the future is a friend who will arrive, eventually. There is no need to hurry it. The town continues to sleep, house after house, roof after roof, all the small gardens, all the picket fences, all the cats curled in the barns, all the horses drowsing in their stalls. Every living thing is sinking deeper. And you are sinking too. You can feel the night expanding around you. It is so large, so generous. It holds the town, the river, the meadows, the harbor, the entire coastline. It holds the printer, the young man, the mothers, the children. It holds you, and it will hold you until morning. Now, take another breath, even slower than before. Let it take a full 8 heartbeats to draw in. Hold it for just a moment, and then let it go. Over 10 heartbeats. Feel your body sink even deeper into the grass. The grass is now a soft, sweet-smelling pillow. The earth beneath it is firm and ancient. It has supported forests and fields for uncounted years. It will support you now, the harbor, the ships, the gentle water, the water. Laps against the wooden hulls, lap, pause, lap, pause. That sound travels across the town, very faintly, but you can hear it if you listen with your heart. It is a sound that says, all is well, all is well. The old printer finally lifts his head. He looks one last time at the words forming in his mind. He is satisfied, not with ambition, but with a deep, quiet peace. He blows out his candle. A thin trail of smoke rises. White against the dark, the room becomes a deep, soft blue, and sleep arrives like a gentle wave. It washes over him, and he is carried away, down by the river. The young man is also growing very drowsy. His thoughts are slowing, becoming images instead of words. He sees a future where children laugh freely, where neighbors help neighbors, where the land is tended with love. And these images are so relaxing. They are like lullabies for the soul. Your breath continues, slow as the tide, and a long, gentle stream of cool air, out. A warm release of all remaining tension. You can feel the night seeping into your bones, not as a chill, but as a deep, profound relaxation. Every muscle loosens, every nerve quiets. Your mind is no longer busy, it is only a still pool, reflecting the stars. Now the scene begins to shift, almost imperceptibly. You are still in the meadow, still under the stars, but the angle of the starlight has changed. The night is turning, slowly, toward its deepest hour, and you are turning with it, into a sleep that is deeper than any you have known. Safe, warm, weightless, you are held by the colonial night, by the dreams of the printer and the dreamer, by the salt wind and the pine, by the silent, endless, beautiful stars. Sleep now. Let this be the beginning of the longest, gentlest rest. The town sleeps, the river flows, the stars watch, and you are one with all of it, breathing in, breathing out, falling gently, gently, into the heart of the night. Now the dream shifts softly, like the turning of a page in a book made of warm silk. You are inside that little house with the wooden walls, the house that sits at the edge of the sleeping colonial town. You have seen it from the outside, its clapboard walls pale in the starlight, but now you are inside, and it is even more peaceful within. The door has been closed so gently, it made no sound. The floorboards are wide and dark, worn smooth by many years of quiet footsteps. They have held the weight of a man who thinks deeply, and now they hold the weight of your presence. And they do not creak, they only support. In silence, you can feel the warmth of the dying hearth. It is off to your left, a small fireplace built of river stones. The stones are round and smooth, each one chosen by hand a long time ago. The fire has burned down to embers now. Those embers glow a soft, deep orange, not flickering, just pulsing, pulsing with the same slow rhythm as your breathing. The warmth reaches you in gentle waves. It does not overheat the room. It just takes the edge off the cool night air. It wraps around you like a soft woolen blanket, and you see the printer's candle. It sits on a plain wooden desk near the window. The candlestick is brass, old and unpolished. It has carried many candles through many nights. The flame is small, and it stands perfectly still, so still that you could mistake it for a painted flame. But it is alive, it breathes, barely moving, so still, it gives just enough light to illuminate the desk, and the man, and the paper. The room smells of paper and melted wax, and something else, the faint, dusty sweetness of old books, and the slight sharpness of ink. It smells of patience, a scent that feels like patience, as if time itself has slowed down to match the rhythm of the candle. You take a slow breath in, and you let that smell settle into you. It is calming, it is reassuring, it is the smell of ideas being born in the quiet. The old printer dips his quill again. You can see the quill, a long feather, perhaps from a goose, its tip cut to a fine point. He dips it into a small inkwell. The ink is dark and thick, but he does not write in haste. He writes as slowly as the stars turn. The letters appear under his hand like footprints in soft sand. You can almost see each letter taking shape. Each stroke of the quill is deliberate, gentle, no scratching sounds, just a soft whisper of nib against paper. And each word breathes. He writes about the natural rights of every soul, not with anger, not with thunder, not with the heat of argument, but with a deep, calm certainty, the way the moon knows it will rise, the way the tide knows it will return. He writes about the inherent dignity of every human being, about the freedom that belongs to each person by birth, not as a prize to be won, but as a truth to be remembered. The words are simple, they are not long or complicated, they are words that a child could understand, and yet they carry the weight of centuries. He writes about life, the simple, precious gift of it. He writes about liberty, the ability to breathe freely, to speak freely, to walk one's own path. He writes about the pursuit of happiness, not the guarantee of it, but the right to seek it, to reach for it, like a plant reaching for the sun. As he writes, his breathing is so even, it matches the candle flame, it matches the distant whisper of the river, it matches your own breathing, and a slow, silent draw of air out, a gentle, soundless release. Everything in this room breathes together, the man, the candle, the ink, the paper, and you. You watch the ink dry in the candlelight. It dries slowly, the dark, wet letters becoming first a little duller, then fully set, and it looks like tiny rivers forming on the paper, rivers of ink that flow from the nib, but then stop, frozen in place, rivers that will one day join into a great, quiet sea, a sea of thought that will cover the land, a sea of gentle, powerful ideas that will change everything. But for now, they are just tiny rivers on a single sheet of paper. Outside the window, the town is still sleeping. Through the small glass panes, you can see the outline of the church spire. You can see the dim shapes of other houses. The starlight is still falling, steady and pure. No one knows what is being written here. No one in the town, no one in the neighboring farms, no one for miles and miles. The printer's work is a secret shared only with the night, and that is okay, because some truths are like seeds. They need only the dark earth and time. They do not need an audience. They only need to be planted, and the night is the best time for planting. The printer pauses. He lifts the quill, and he looks out the window for a moment. His eyes are not tired, they are thoughtful. He sees the same stars you saw earlier. He sees the same Milky Way, the same faint, misty band of light, and he thinks about how small he is, how small his candle is, how small this whole town is, and yet, he feels a deep connection to the vastness above, because he knows that the same natural laws that guide the stars can guide human affairs as well. If only people would listen, if only people would be as patient and as certain as the stars. He dips the quill again, and he writes a little more, slowly, carefully. His handwriting is clear, not fancy, but legible and steady. Each letter is formed with care. He writes about the consent of the governed, a radical idea, but he writes it so calmly. He writes that power comes from the people, and that power should be used to protect their rights, not to take them away. He writes that when a government fails to protect those rights, the people have a right to change it. But he writes this not as a battle cry, but as a simple, reasonable, self-evident truth. You can feel the peace of this room deepening. It is a peace that has been earned, the peace of a man who has struggled with ideas, who has argued and debated, who has lost and won, and who has finally arrived at a quiet place of clarity. This clarity is like the candle flame, small, but unwavering. The night outside is deep now, very deep. It is that hour when even the night animals pause. The owl has stopped calling. The crickets have slowed their song. The whole world seems to be holding its breath, listening to the gentle scratch of the quill, listening to the whisper of ideas that will outlive every living soul in this town. the printer's mind drifts for a moment. He thinks about his own life. He came to this land as a young man. He worked hard. His hands have known more than just ink. They have known the roughness of timber and the weight of a plow. But always, his heart has been drawn to words. He believes in the power of words to heal, to unite, to set free, and so he has become a printer, not for wealth, not for fame, but because he believes that every person deserves to read the truth, to hold it in their hands, printed on a simple sheet of paper. He sets down his quill now. He leans back in his chair. The chair is wooden, with a curved back and a thin cushion worn flat. It creaks once, a soft, familiar sound. A sound that has been heard in this room 1,000 times before. He folds his hands over his stomach. His eyes grow heavy, but they are heavy with contentment, not exhaustion. He looks at the stars one last time through the glass, and he smiles, a very small, very gentle smile, because he knows that kindness and reason can be like lamps, guiding people without a single harsh sound. He knows that the words he has written tonight will one day be read by people he will never meet, and they will feel the same calm, steady hope that he feels now. The candle still burns, but it is growing shorter. The wax has pulled around the wick, a tiny, liquid mirror of the flame, and the room is becoming even softer. The shadows in the corners deepen, but they are not frightening shadows. They are velvet shadows, dark and soft and safe. They are like the folds of a great, warm cloak. You can feel the printer's peace filling you. It seeps into your own heart. You realize that all the worries of your day are like the noise outside this house. They are distant. They are fading. They have no power in this room, in this sanctuary of ink and candlelight. He leans forward just slightly. He looks at the paper one more time. He does not add anything. He only reads what he has written, very quietly to himself. His lips move just a little, forming the words without sound, and you can almost hear them: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The words hang in the air. They mix with the scent of wax and paper, and they feel like a blessing. Then he blows out the candle. He does it with a single, soft breath. The flame leans to one side, dances very briefly, and then it is gone. A thin, white ribbon of smoke rises, curling like a question mark, and then it fades into the darkness. The room becomes a deep, soft blue. The moonlight from the window now takes over. It is a cooler light, but still gentle. It falls on the desk, on the paper, on the man's peaceful face. He does not rise from his chair immediately. He sits for just a moment longer, in the dark, breathing slowly. You can hear that breathing. It is deep. And even, it is the breathing of a man who has done his work, who has said what needed to be said, and who now surrenders to rest. Then, very slowly, he rises. He moves to a small bed in a corner of the room. The bed is simple, a wooden frame with a thick quilt. He lies down. He does not toss or turn. He simply settles. The quilt is pulled over him, and within moments, his breathing becomes even slower, softer, like the tide retreating from the shore. Sleep arrives like a gentle wave. It washes over him, and he is carried into a dreamless rest. The paper on the desk remains. The ink is dry. The words are there. They will wait patiently through the night, and through many nights to come. They are seeds in the dark earth, and the soil is good. Now your own breathing can become even softer. You are still in the room, but the room is fading. The walls are becoming transparent. The roof opens to the stars. You feel yourself being carried outward, into the night once more. But you carry this peace with you, the peace of the printer, the peace of the words, the peace of the candle that has now gone out. You can hear the town still sleeping all around you, the ships still rocking in the harbor, the river still flowing through the meadow, the young man still dreaming by the water, the mother still humming her old tune, and the printer, now sound asleep in his bed. All of them are breathing with you, one great, slow, communal breath. And you know, without needing to be told, that this is how freedom begins. not with a bang or a shout, but with a quiet room, a candle, a quill, and a heart full of gentle, steady hope. Freedom begins in the dark, in the silence, in the waiting. So let yourself wait now, let yourself rest. Let the printer's peace be your pillow, let his words be your blanket. Sleep, and know that the seeds have been planted. Sleep, and let the seeds take root in your own dreams. Sleep, deeply, gently, as the candle smoke still lingers like a blessing in the air. Sleep, now the night carries you softly onward, like a leaf on the slowest stream, like a feather drifting down through still air. You are drifting toward a quiet riverbank, just outside the sleeping town, the town with its wooden houses and its quiet harbor, the town with the old printer still dreaming in his bed, the town with its church spire pointing silently at the stars. You have left that town behind for now, but it is still there, still sleeping, still holding its gentle dreams. And now you are moving toward the river. The grass here is cool and damp with evening dew. Each blade of grass holds a tiny jewel of moisture, and when the starlight touches those dewdrops, they gleam, just a little, like scattered diamonds, but very small diamonds, very humble diamonds, the kind that do not ask to be noticed. Your feet are bare, and the grass is so soft beneath them, it bends without breaking, it welcomes your weight. And the sky above, it is still that same deep, endless field of stars, the same sky that covered the town, the same sky that watched over the printer's window. Now it watches over you, and the river, and the dreaming land. You can hear the river now, before you even see it. It is a sound that has traveled across the meadow, it carries through the cool night air, and it is the most soothing sound you have ever heard. It does not rush, it does not tumble or crash, it does not demand anything from you, it only whispers, a long, slow, silvery whisper, a whisper that has been going on for hundreds of years, and will go on for hundreds more. The water moves so gently, it slides over smooth stones, it curls around the roots of old trees, it makes no foam, no froth, only the gentlest ripples, as if it knows the whole world is asleep, and it does not want to wake a single soul, not the souls in the town, not the souls on the farms, not the birds in the branches, not the fish beneath the surface, not you, not the young man who waits ahead, because there is a young man who comes here often at night. You can see him now, standing by the water's edge. He is tall, his shoulders are broad but at ease, not the stiff shoulders of a soldier, but the relaxed shoulders of a thinker. His hair catches a little of the starlight, a soft reddish brown, it gleams very faintly, like autumn leaves in moonlight. His hands are loose at his sides, he is not carrying anything, not a book, not a lantern, only his own quiet thoughts. His eyes rest on the reflection of the Milky Way. The river holds that reflection perfectly, it is like a mirror made of dark water. The stars tremble just slightly on the surface, trembling with the gentle pulse of the current, and his breathing is as slow as yours is now. You can almost hear it, or perhaps you feel it, a steady, slow, calming rhythm. He is not yet the man history will remember. Tonight, he is not a statesman, not an author, not a voice that will echo through the centuries. Tonight, he is only a dreamer, a young soul looking at the stars, and wondering about life and justice and the shape of the future, wondering what it would be like if the people themselves could tend this land, like a careful gardener tends the soil. His mind is not loud, it does not shout, it does not argue with itself or with others, it only considers, gently, like the river considers the stones it passes over. He imagines a world where every voice matters, not just the loudest voices, not just the richest voices, but every single voice, from the smallest cabin to the largest house, every voice, given its due weight, every soul, seen and heard. He imagines a world where the laws are not heavy stones pressing down on the poor and the weak, pressing down until backs break and spirits crumble, but gentle fences, built together, fences that protect the tender growth, that keep out harm, but let in light, laws that are like the banks of this river, guiding the water, but never choking it, giving shape to the flow, but never stopping its song. His mind drifts across the fields he knows, across the wooded hills still dark with night, the hills that roll away to the west, covered in oak and maple and pine, the fields that have been cleared by generations of hands, hands that planted corn and wheat and hope, and he sees them not as property, not as lines on a map, not as things to be bought and sold and fought over, but as a trust, a promise, a shared cradle, a cradle that holds the lives of all who dwell here. He thinks about the people who work this land, the farmers rising before dawn, their hands calloused and strong, the blacksmiths at their forges, their faces lit by orange fire, the seamstresses bending over their needles, stitching clothes for their children, the fishermen casting their nets into the cold dawn sea, the mothers rocking cradles with their feet while their hands churn butter, all of them working so hard, all of them hoping for something, a little more comfort, a little more security, a little more freedom. And he wonders, what if their labor bore the fruit it deserved? What if their voices shaped the laws that govern them? What if this land, so vast and so fertile, could become a place where no one had to bow to another, where dignity was as common as the air, where freedom was not a gift from a distant throne, but a birthright, like the sun, like the rain, like the stars? His thoughts are so gentle, you can feel them like a warmth. They are not angry thoughts, not resentful thoughts, they are simply hopeful, the hope of a young person who has not yet been hardened by the world, or perhaps the hope of a young person who has seen hardship, but has not let it make him bitter. He has let it make him kind instead. The river flows on, it carries the starlight in tiny ripples, each ripple catches a star, holds it for a heartbeat, then lets it go. The star continues to shine, unaffected, and the ripple continues to travel, downstream, around the bend, until it reaches the harbor, and the ships, and the sea, a whole journey, taken one gentle step at a time. And the young man's thoughts do the same. He catches an idea, holds it gently, turns it over in his mind, examines it from every angle, feels its weight and its shape, and then lets it drift. He does not cling to any single thought too tightly. He does not force anything to be what it is not. He just lets the shape of a new world form softly in his mind, piece by piece, like a mosaic made of moonlight. He breathes in the cool night air. It smells of wet stones and mint growing wild along the bank. The mint is fragrant. It releases its scent when the breeze brushes it, and the wet stones, they smell of ancient minerals and time. They smell of the earth's deep memory. He breathes out, and his shoulders lower just a little more. They were already relaxed, but now they drop even further, as if some tiny remaining tension has melted away. You can feel your own shoulders lowering now. They drop, until they feel soft and heavy. You let go of every burden, every small worry, every lingering thought about the day that has passed, every plan for tomorrow. You drop them all, like stones into the river, and the river carries them away, without complaint, melting them into its dark, smooth surface. The young man shifts his weight. He sits down on a smooth, flat rock by the water. The rock is large. It juts out just a little over the river. It has been worn flat by centuries of rain and wind. It is gray in the starlight, with tiny flecks of mica that sparkle faintly. The rock still holds a trace of the sun's warmth from the day. Even now, long after sunset, it has not forgotten the sun. It feels comforting, like a hand on your back, warm, steady, reassuring. He draws his knees up loosely, and wraps his arms around them. His posture is not stiff. He is not sitting formally. He is sitting like a boy might sit, relaxed and open. He is not in a hurry. The night is long, and so very kind. It stretches out before him like an open road, and he has no destination. He is simply here. Here by the river, here under the stars, Here with his thoughts, he thinks about his own home, a wooden house on a hill, with wide windows. He can see it in his mind now. The house has a porch that wraps around 3 sides, and in the daytime, you can see for miles from that porch, rolling hills, patches of forest, ribbons of river, and a library filled with books that smell of old paper and time. The books are in many languages, some are ancient, bound in leather, some are new, the ink still crisp on their pages. He loves those books. They have been his teachers, his companions, his windows into other worlds. They speak of ancient republics, of virtue, of the common good, of Athens and Rome and the long struggle of people to govern themselves. But tonight, he does not need to read. He does not need to light a candle and turn the pages. He does not need to study or memorize or debate. The stars themselves seem to spell out the words like liberty, reason, peace, words like justice, mercy, hope. They are written across the heavens, in a language older than any book, and he reads them with his heart, not his eyes. A soft breeze stirs the leaves overhead. The trees here are tall, their branches laced together like cathedral arches. They form a canopy over this part of the river, a canopy that filters the starlight, making it dappled and dreamy. The sound of the leaves is so soft, so very, very soft, like the brushing of silk against silk, like the gentlest sigh of a sleeping child. It makes you want to close your eyes even more, and just listen, just hear the leaves and the river and the breeze. Just let them sing their quiet, ancient song, and just breathe in the cool, mint-scented air, out all the remaining weight of the day. Just be here by the river, be present in this moment, be nothing more than a soul at rest. The young man's name, if you whisper it very quietly, sounds like the river itself. It has a gentle flow to it, a soft cadence, but you do not need to say it. Names are not important here. Titles and reputations and the opinions of others, they do not matter. What matters is the feeling he carries, a feeling that a new kind of dawn is possible, a dawn that will not break with trumpets and noise, not a dawn of cannons and shouting and a clamor of revolution, but a dawn that arrives like this river, quietly, steadily, bringing light inch by inch across the water, so slowly that you hardly notice it at first, but then, suddenly, the whole world is gold. He imagines that dawn. He can almost see it. The sky softening from black to deep blue, the deep blue fading to lavender at the horizon, the lavender blushing into pink, the pink warming into gold, and the sun rising over the Atlantic, sending its first rays across the waves, across the harbor, across the sleeping town, across the fields and the forests and the hills, waking the birds one by one, waking the flowers, waking the world, and the people, waking too, not with fear of what the day might bring, but with a quiet confidence, with the knowledge that they are the masters of their own fate, that they have a voice in their own destiny. That is the dawn he dreams of, not a dawn that destroys the night, but a dawn that fulfills it, that completes the promise that the night whispered. Now he lies back on the grass. He stretches out his long frame. The grass receives him. It is cool but not cold. It cushions his head. It supports his back. His hands folded behind his head, his elbows pointing outward. He gazes up at the constellations. They roll overhead so slowly, so imperceptibly, and he thinks about all the other people sleeping in the town, sleeping on the farms, sleeping in the colonies up and down the coast, each one of them with their own private dreams, each one of them hoping for something better. There is a farmer dreaming of a good harvest. His hands are rough from the plow, but his dreams are soft. He dreams of golden wheat swaying in the sun. He dreams of his children running through the fields, laughing. He dreams of a winter with enough wood in the shed and enough food on the table. There is a young mother dreaming of her baby's future. She holds the infant close to her breast, the baby's breath warm against her skin. She dreams of a world where that child can grow up safe, where that child can learn to read and write, where that child can choose their own path, and walk it without fear. There is a blacksmith dreaming of a forge that never goes cold, of honest work that is fairly paid, of a community that respects what he does, of a life where his skill is his passport, and his reputation is his wealth. There is an old woman dreaming of the husband she lost. She dreams of his voice and his gentle hands. She dreams of the day they spent walking by a river much like this one. She is not sad in her dream. She is grateful, grateful for the years they had, grateful for the memories that still warm her. All these dreams, floating up from the sleeping land, like mist rising from the river at dawn, they mingle in the air above the colonies, a great, invisible tapestry of hope and longing and quiet determination. He wonders, if we could gather all those hopes together, what would they look like? Would they look like the Milky Way, a band of light made of countless tiny flames, each one small, barely visible on its own, but together, illuminating the whole night, turning the darkness into something beautiful, making the darkness itself a kind of light? Yes, he thinks, that is what they would look like, a galaxy of hope, spinning slowly, silently, across the vast, dark sky of the unknown future. Your breathing matches his now. You are breathing together, you and this young dreamer, slow and steady, in a long, gentle stream of air, out, a warm, silent release, and the river whispers, out, the leaves sigh, and the stars watch, out, the night holds you both. The river does not stop, it keeps whispering its gentle song, a song that has no beginning and no end. It has been singing since the first rain fell on these hills, since the first spring welled up from the earth, since the first stream cut its path to the sea. And it will keep singing, long after all of this is memory, after the town has grown into a city, after the colonies have become a nation, after the young man's name is carved in stone. The river will still be here, singing its same old song, and you realize the song has no end. It just keeps flowing, through the night, through the years, through the dreams of everyone who ever looked up at these stars, through the hopes of everyone who ever sat by this water, through the hearts of everyone who ever believed in a better tomorrow. It flows through them all, connecting them, connecting you. The young man closes his eyes, his lashes are pale against his cheeks, and in his mind, he sees a document, not yet written, but already glowing faintly on some future desk. The desk is wooden. It sits in a warm room filled with other men who have traveled from different colonies, different backgrounds. Some are old, some are young, some are bold, some are cautious, but they have all gathered with a single purpose, to give form to the dreams they have all been dreaming. The words are written in a clear, careful hand. Each letter is precise, each sentence is balanced. They speak of self-evident truths, of equality, of unalienable rights, of life, of liberty, of the pursuit of happiness, but they speak these things softly, as if the paper itself respects the quiet of the night, as if the ink flows not with anger, but with reverence, as if the very act of writing is a prayer. He smiles, just a little, a small curve of his lips, almost imperceptible, because he knows that this document will one day exist, not because of violence or noise, not because of armies marching or cannons firing, but because people like him, and people like you, have sat under the stars and dreamed of freedom, have sat by rivers like this one and imagined a different world. And dreaming is the first gentle step, the seed from which all else grows. You can feel that seed in your own heart now. It is small, it is quiet, but it is there, a tiny warmth, a tiny light, a tiny hope that maybe, just maybe, the world can be kinder than it is, that tomorrow can be softer than today, that freedom is not a distant dream, but a quiet truth, waiting to be born. The river widens here, it has traveled down from the hills, and now it spreads out, slow and broad. It becomes a calm sheet of water, almost like a lake. The current is barely perceptible, Only the faintest drift of a fallen leaf tells you that the water still moves. The stars reflect so perfectly, you can see every single one, doubled in the water. It is hard to tell where the sky ends and the water begins. They blend into each other. The horizon is a soft, dark line, almost invisible. It feels like floating in the middle of the universe, suspended, weightless, at peace. There is no up or down, no here or there, only this moment, this stillness, this perfect, serene equilibrium. You could stay here forever, and it would be enough. The young man's breathing deepens. His chest rises, falls, rises, falls, slower. Now, even slower. He is falling asleep now, right there on the riverbank. The grass is his bed, the stars are his blanket, the river is his lullaby, and you are falling asleep with him. Your thoughts dissolve into the water, into the stars, into the soft, patient waiting of the night. You are not separate from him, or from the river, or from the stars. You are all part of the same great, slow dream. The dream of a land where freedom is not fought for, but simply allowed to grow, like the grass, like the trees, like the river itself. The colonial town is still asleep behind you. It is a smudge of dark shapes against the darker hills. A few chimneys still trail thin lines of smoke. The church spire still points upward. The ships still rock in the harbor. The old printer's candle has long been extinguished, but his words remain, resting on his desk, waiting for the light of morning. And all across the land, from the hills to the sea, from the northern forests to the southern marshes, people are dreaming the same slow dream, a dream that freedom is not a storm, not a violent upheaval that tears everything apart, but a seed, growing quietly in the dark, a seed that needs only time, and patience, and a little bit of light. And that seed has been planted. It has been planted in a printer's ink. It has been planted in the young man's thoughts. It has been planted in the mother's lullaby. It has been planted in every heart that has ever hoped for a better world. You can let go now, completely, totally, let go. Let the river carry your thoughts away. You do not need to hold on to anything, not the names, not the dates, not the facts, not the history you have learned, or the history that has yet to be written, only the feeling of cool grass under your back, of starlight on your closed eyelids, of the river's endless, gentle song. This young man will one day be called a father of a nation. His words will be studied by children for centuries to come. His ideas will shape governments and inspire revolutions. But tonight, he is just a tired, hopeful soul, resting by the water, trusting the night, letting the river sing him to sleep. And you can trust the night too. It holds you as safely as it holds him, as safely as it holds the stars, as safely as it holds the entire, sleeping continent. The night is vast, but it is not empty. It is full of peace, full of dreams, full of the quiet, steady hum of a world at rest. Let the river wash through your dreams now. Let it flow through every corner of your mind. Let it smooth every rough edge. Let it wear down every sharp corner of memory or worry. Let it turn every concern into a smooth, round pebble, a pebble that can rest on the riverbed, nestled among all the other pebbles, no longer sharp, no longer painful, only smooth, and cool, and still. The water whispers, all is well. Listen, you can hear it, all is well, all is well. The stars whisper, all is well. They twinkle their agreement. Slow and steady, the young man's quiet breathing whispers, all is well. His breath rises and falls like a gentle tide, and you know, deep in the softest part of your heart, that it is true. It is all well. It has always been well, and it will always be well. The night deepens. It can go deeper still. There are layers of darkness, each one softer than the last, and you are sinking through them, like a pebble through clear water, sinking, slowly, gently, into the deepest, stillest part of the night. The river flows. It flows and never stops. The stars will slowly overhead. The constellations shift, 1 degree, then another. The great clock of the universe ticks on, but it ticks so slowly, so quietly, that it does not disturb a single thing. And somewhere, on the edge of hearing, very faint, very distant, there is a voice. It sounds like the voice of a woman, old and kind. Her voice is weathered by years of use, but it is still strong and gentle. She is humming a tune from across the sea, a tune that has comforted children for 100 years. It came over on a ship, tucked in. The memory of a young woman long ago, and it has been passed down, mother to daughter, through generations of dark nights and quiet bedtimes. It drifts across the water, it weaves through the trees, it curls around the leaves and the stones, it wraps around the young man. He smiles in his sleep, he can hear it too. It wraps around you, you can feel it like a warm, soft shawl. And it will carry you now, into an even deeper rest. A rest deeper than the river, deeper than the stars, deeper than any sleep you have ever known. Sleep now, let the river take you, downstream, around the bend, into the quiet cove of dreams. Let the stars watch over you, keeping their ancient, faithful vigil. Let the red-haired dreamer's quiet hope be the pillow for your head, soft, supportive, full of gentle promise. You are safe, in the arms of this colonial night. You are free, free from worry, free from tension, free from the weight of the world. You are deeply, deeply asleep, and the river keeps flowing, quietly, endlessly, peacefully, carrying you into the heart of the night. Now the dream shifts like a soft turning in bed, like the slow roll of a sleeper finding a more comfortable position. You find yourself on a gentle hillside, above the town, above the river. The hillside slopes away beneath you, soft and green and dark. The grass here is longer, it sways so slowly in the night breeze. It sways like waves on a quiet sea, back and forth, a rhythm that has no hurry in it at all. And a single great oak tree stands before you. It stands at the crown of the hill, like a guardian, like a wise old soul keeping watch over the land. Its branches spread wide, like open arms, arms that have been open for centuries, arms that have sheltered birds and squirrels and tired travelers, arms that have held the rain and the sun and the snow. And tonight, those arms are open for you. This oak is very old, so old that it was here long before the first ships arrived, long before the first colonists cut the first logs for the first cabins, long before any of the names in the history books were ever spoken. It was old when the first people fished in this river. It was old when the first trails were blazed through these forests. It has watched the seasons turn, uncountable times. It has seen the leaves fall and the snow come, the buds swell and the sun blaze. It has sheltered countless birds and small creatures. Nests have been built in its crooks. Squirrels have raced along its limbs. Owls have perched in its highest branches, calling softly to the moon. And tonight, it shelters you. You walk toward it, your steps silent on the mossy ground. The moss is thick and green. It feels like velvet beneath your feet. It cushions every step, absorbing every sound. The air around the tree is slightly warmer than the open hillside, as if the oak itself radiates a gentle heat, a heat it gathered from the long summer days, and is now releasing slowly, generously, into the night. The trunk is wide and warm looking. It would take 3 grown men to circle it with their arms. It is so wide, so solid, so permanent. Its bark is rough in some places, deep furrows like the wrinkles of an ancient face, and smooth in others, where generations of deer and cattle have rubbed against it. These smooth patches gleam softly in the starlight. They feel like polished stone. You place your hand on it. The bark is warm against your palm, warmer than you expected, and you can feel a deep, slow rhythm, a pulse that rises and falls over many seconds, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. That rhythm is so calming, so steady, so reliable. It has been beating since before any human heart beat on this continent, and it will beat long after. It makes your own heart slow down. Your pulse drops, beat by beat, matching the steady pulse of the roots beneath the soil. Those roots stretch down deep, deeper than you can imagine. They reach through the dark earth, through layers of clay and stone. They find water, they find nourishment, they find anchorage. They are the foundation of this great tree, and they are the foundation of the peace you feel now. At the base of the oak, someone has spread a quilt. It is a patchwork quilt, sewn from many different fabrics. Each piece is a rectangle or a square, cut carefully. Some pieces are faded blue, the blue of old work shirts worn soft by years of labor. Some are soft cream, the cream of wedding dresses and christening gowns. Some are the color of dried roses, deep, muted pinks that speak of old gardens. Some are the brown of autumn leaves, the green of pine needles, the gray of a winter sky. Each piece comes from a different dress, a different shirt, a different life, a piece of a mother's apron, stained with flour and love, a piece of a father's Sunday coat, worn only on the best days, a piece of a child's first blanket, now too small but too precious to discard, and now they are stitched together into one warm, welcoming cover, stitched with tiny, even stitches, by hands that worked by firelight, hands that knew every piece, hands that remembered every story. You sit down on the quilt. It is softer than you imagined. The fabrics have been washed so many times they are like silk. They have absorbed years of sunshine and wind and gentle handling. It smells faintly of lavender and wood smoke, lavender from the sachets tucked into the linen chest, wood smoke from the hearth where the sewing was done, and something else, the faint, sweet smell of old memories, of babies held, of tears dried, of prayers whispered. You pull a corner of it over your legs, and the weight is perfect, not heavy, not oppressive, just present, like a comforting hand, telling you to rest, like a gentle reminder that you are cared for. A little way off, a woman is sitting on a wooden stool. The stool is three-legged and old, its seat worn smooth by use. She wears a simple dress, homespun and practical. The color is soft gray, like the feathers of a dove, and on her head, even at night, she wears a wide-brimmed hat, not for fashion, but to shade her eyes from the sun during the long days. She must have forgotten to take it off when the evening came, or perhaps she keeps it on as a comfort, a familiar weight. Her face is kind, lined with years of work and love, lines around her eyes from squinting into the sun, lines around her mouth from smiling at her children, lines on her forehead from worrying, and then letting go of worry. Her hands are folded in her lap, resting from their labors. They are rough hands, but gentle hands, hands that have kneaded dough and planted seeds and soothed fevers, hands that have clapped in joy and folded in prayer. And she is humming a tune, a very old tune, one that came across the ocean in her grandmother's memory. It crossed the Atlantic in the crowded hold of a ship. It survived the storms and the sickness and the fear. And it arrived on these shores, still intact, still beautiful. The melody is simple, only a few notes. They rise and fall like the breathing of the land itself, like the wind over the wheat fields, like the tide on the shore, like the slow, steady pulse of the oak tree. Her name is not written in any history book. No monument will ever bear her name. No street will be named for her. No student will memorize her dates or her deeds. But her song is history. It is the history that matters most. The history of mothers putting children to bed, of women working by candlelight long after everyone else is asleep, of gentle hands folding dough, mending clothes, planting seeds, of voices raised in soft lullabies, calling down sleep from the stars. Her hum is the sound of nurturing, of patience, of the quiet strength that holds the world together, the strength that does not shout or boast, the strength that simply endures, and loves, and hopes. You lie back on the quilt, it receives you fully. The patchwork fabrics press up against your back, soft and cool. You look up through the oak's branches. The leaves make a delicate lace against the starry sky. They are dark shapes against the lighter dark of the heavens. They tremble just slightly, in time with the mother's hum. The northern star is visible through a gap in the canopy. It is framed perfectly by two strong branches. It shines so steadily, so faithfully. It does not twinkle as much as the other stars. It is constant, reliable, unchanging. Sailors have used it to navigate on dark, moonless nights far out at sea. When the waves were high and the wind was cold, they looked up and found that star, and knew which way was home. Escaped souls have followed it north to freedom, traveling by night, hiding by day, keeping that steady light always on their left shoulder, walking through swamps and forests and fields, following that star to a new life. And tonight, it simply watches over you, a fixed point of light in a vast, gentle dark. It asks nothing of you, it only shines, it only says, I am here. I have always been here. I will always be here. And that is enough. The woman's hum continues. It weaves through the branches, it mingles with the rustle of the oak leaves. The leaves have their own song, a dry, gentle whisper, and the two songs blend together, voice and tree, and you realize the oak is humming too, in its own way, a low, creaking song of wood and time, of sap rising and falling, of cells growing and dividing, of roots gripping deep and branches reaching high. It is the oldest song on earth, the song of life itself. Everything here is humming, the earth, deep below you, rumbling with slow, volcanic dreams, the stars, high above you, burning with ancient fire, the patchwork quilt, vibrating with the memories of the lives it has touched, your own drowsy breath, whispering in and out, all of it, one great, quiet chorus. The woman's daughter, a small girl with bare feet and a nightgown, comes out of a nearby cottage. The cottage door opens with a soft, brief sound, and closes just as softly. The cottage is small, made of the same clapboard as the town houses. A thin ribbon of smoke rises from its chimney. The girl's nightgown is white in the starlight. It billows slightly as she walks. Her feet are bare and pale. They make no sound on the grass. She rubs her eyes sleepily, her small fists working in gentle circles. She has been roused by a dream perhaps, or by the absence of her mother, and she curls up on the quilt beside you. She does not speak, she only snuggles close to her mother. Her small body finds its familiar place, tucked against her mother's side, and her mother pulls another corner of the quilt over her, tucking her in with the same gentle motion she has done 1,000 times. Once when the girl was a newborn, wrapped in swaddling clothes. Once when she was a feverish infant, needing comfort through the night. Once when she was a toddler, afraid of the thunder. And now, tonight, the same motion, the same love. The little girl looks up at the North Star. Her eyes are heavy-lidded, they blink slowly. The starlight reflects in them, tiny points of light. But she asks in a tiny whisper, a voice so small it might be the wind, Mama, does the star ever get tired? It is the question of a child, simple and profound. Does it ever get tired of shining, tired of watching, tired of being so far away and so alone? Her mother's hum pauses for a breath. The silence that follows is full of love. She looks down at her daughter, her face softening even more. Then she answers, soft as milkweed floating on a summer breeze, no, child, the star never tires. It watches over us all night, through the dark hours. Through the quiet hours, it watches over the ships at sea and the travelers on the roads. It watches over the sleeping and the wakeful. And in the morning, it lets the sun take over. The sun rises, warm and bright, and the star rests, hidden in the blue of the day. So we are never alone, we are watched over, always. The child smiles, her small mouth curving upward, and her eyes close. The long lashes rest on her cheeks. Her breathing becomes slow and even. It matches her mother's breathing, it matches yours, and soon she is dreaming of a path that leads north, a path through forests and fields, beside rivers and over hills, lined with white wildflowers, daisies and Queen Anne's lace. The same path many have walked, seeking freedom, men and women and children, whole families, walking in the dark, guided by the star, the same path the star lights. Step by step, you feel your own thoughts becoming hazy, the edges of your mind are softening. The quilt is so warm, it has absorbed your body heat and is giving it back. The oak is so steady, its presence is like a promise. The mother's hum is so soothing, it has become the background of the whole world. You cannot tell anymore if the woman is still humming, or if the sound has simply become part of your own breathing. Maybe they are the same thing. Maybe breathing itself is a kind of humming, a hum of the body, a song of being alive. There are other cottages scattered across the hillside. You can see them if you lift your heavy eyes just a little. They are dark shapes against the darker grass. Their roofs are thatched or shingled, their walls are pale, each one has a chimney, and from each chimney comes a thin wisp of smoke, each one dark and quiet now. The windows are dark, the doors are closed, inside each one, a family sleeps, fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, grandparents and babies, all of them breathing, all of them dreaming. Inside each one, a quilt covers sleeping forms. Some quilts are patched with fabric from an old soldier's coat, a red coat, perhaps, or a blue one, now faded and soft. The soldier is gone now, but his coat remains, keeping his family warm. Some quilts have pieces of a wedding dress, white silk, now yellowed with age, but still beautiful, stitched in the shape of a heart, or a ring. Some have scraps from a baby's first blanket, soft flannel, pale pink or blue or cream. That baby is now grown, with children of their own, but the blanket remains, a memory of small beginnings. All of them hold stories, each stitch is a story. Each patch is a chapter. Some stories are sad, they speak of loss and longing. Some stories are joyful, they speak of weddings and births and harvests. Some stories are ordinary, they speak of days that passed quietly. But all of them hold love, love that was sewn into every seam, love that was wrapped around every sleeping body, love that was passed down through the years. The oak tree sways just a little. Even the mightiest tree must sway when the wind asks it to. Its branches move, barely perceptibly. And you imagine its roots stretching down deep into the earth. They grow down through the soil, through the clay, through the bedrock. They spread out in all directions, a mirror of the branches above, touching the roots of other trees, the pine trees in the forest, the maples by the river, the apple trees in the orchards, connecting every part of the land, a great underground network, a web of roots and fungi and life. And through those roots, a message travels, a message that does not use words, it uses feeling. It uses rhythm, it uses the slow pulse of the earth. It says, peace, peace, peace. The wind picks up, but only the gentlest breeze, the kind of breeze that can barely lift a feather. It carries the scent of wild thyme and clover. The thyme grows in the meadow, the clover in the field. Their scents are sweet and herbal, calming and clean. It rustles the pages of a book left on the cottage step. Someone was reading on the porch earlier and forgot to bring the book inside. It is a book of poems, or perhaps a Bible, or perhaps a simple almanac, but the book is not disturbed. The breeze ruffles only a few pages, they lift and fall, and then the breeze settles, as if it too has fallen asleep, as if it has found a place to rest. You can feel the history in this place. It is not the history of battles, not the history of kings and presidents, not the history of dates and documents and declarations. It is the history of quiet evenings, of tired bodies finding rest, of mothers singing, of children dreaming, of fathers returning from the fields, their shadows long in the setting sun, of grandmothers telling stories by the fire, their voices crackling like the flames, of people believing that the future can be softer than the past, that their children will have it better, easier, freer. This is the history that holds up the famous moments, the unseen foundation, built from love and patience and hope. Without this, the documents would just be paper. Without this, the speeches would just be air. Without this, the revolution would just be noise. But with this, with the quiet love of mothers and the steady hope of dreamers, everything becomes possible. A new world can be born, the North Star shines on, and you remember something, a small fact from the quiet part of your mind. The North Star is not really one star, but a system, multiple stars, 3 of them, bound together by gravity. They orbit each other, dancing a slow, invisible dance. So what looks like a single point of light is actually a family, just like the patchwork quilt, many pieces made one. Just like the colonies themselves, many settlements, many stories, bound together into one warm, hopeful shape. Your eyelids are so heavy now, heavier than the oak's roots, heavier than the stones in the river. The weight of the quilt seems to increase, just slightly. It is not a burdensome weight, it is a comforting weight, pressing you down into the softest sleep, anchoring you to this peaceful spot. You hear the mother's voice once more. She has begun to hum a new song, or perhaps it is the same song, slowed to a near standstill, a single note stretched out, like a golden thread. It sounds like goodbye, but the gentlest goodbye, the kind that says, I will be here when you wake, the kind that says, this is not an ending, only a pause. The little girl murmurs something in her sleep, her lips move slightly, forming a word that sounds like free. It slips out on her breath, a tiny, hopeful sound, and her mother brushes the hair from her forehead, her rough, gentle fingers moving so tenderly. She tucks a strand of hair behind the girl's ear, and whispers back, yes, little one, free. Her voice is like the rustle of the quilt, like the hum of the oak. That word lingers in the air. It does not dissipate, it hovers, it settles on the quilt, on the oak, on the stars. It sinks into your skin, warm and weightless. It becomes part of the night, part of the dream. The night is so deep now, deeper than any ocean, deeper than the deepest trench in the sea, and you are floating in it. No need to swim, no need to move a single muscle. You are suspended in this darkness. Like a star in the sky, the quilt holds you, its patches whispering their stories against your skin. The oak holds you, its branches a canopy, its roots a foundation. The star holds you, its steady light a beacon in the vast dark. The mother's hum holds you, its melody a cradle for your soul. You are held by a whole continent of dreamers, from the northern woods to the southern marshes, from the eastern shore to the western mountains, all breathing the same slow rhythm, all trusting the same kind night, all wrapped in their own quilts, under their own stars. Let your thoughts drift to the other sleepers now, in Virginia, on the great plantations and in the small cabins, the sleepers there are dreaming of a harvest without fear, in Massachusetts, in the fishing villages and the port towns. The sleepers there are dreaming of ships that come home safely, in Pennsylvania, in the Quaker meeting houses and the busy streets of Philadelphia. The sleepers there are dreaming of peace and brotherhood, in humble cabins and fine houses, in the largest mansions and the smallest shacks. They have all put down their tools and their quills, the plows and the hammers, the needles and the pens. They have all closed their eyes, the young and the old, the rich and the poor, the hopeful and the weary, the bold and the timid. They have all surrendered to this same peaceful darkness, and in this darkness, there are no differences, no rich or poor, no powerful or weak, no educated or unschooled, no master or servant, only souls, resting, side by side, breathing the same air, dreaming the same dreams, wrapped in the same deep, velvet night. The oak sighs, a long, low creak that sounds almost like a word. The word comes from deep within the trunk, from the heartwood. It travels up through the branches, out through the leaves, and into the night air. The word is, welcome. You are welcome here. You have always been welcome, in the shadow of this tree, in the warmth of this quilt, in the melody of this song. You are not a stranger. You are not an outsider. You are part of this, part of the night, part of the hope. Sleep now, let the star guide you into your deepest rest. Let its steady light be a path through your dreams. Let the oak be the guardian of your dreams, its strength a wall against all harm, its branches a roof against all rain. Let the mother's hum be the soundtrack of your night, its melody a river that carries you downstream into the wide, calm sea of sleep. You are safe, safer than you have ever been. You are cherished, more than you can ever know. You are free, free from all that binds and weighs and worries. And you are deeply, deeply asleep. The hillside settles around you, the cottages grow quieter still. The stars begin their slow will toward morning, but morning is still far away, hours and hours away. There is only now, only this moment, only the oak, the quilt, the star, the song, only the deep, peaceful breathing of a world at rest. Sleep, and let the night carry you gently on. Now the scene softens again, like a page turning in a book made of mist, like the gentle shift of clouds passing across the moon. You find yourself in a different place, a cobblestone street in a larger town, Philadelphia perhaps, the largest town in these colonies. The street is empty, the shops are closed, their shutters are drawn, their signs are still. The only light comes from the moon, and a few stray candles in upper windows. Those candles are few and far between, they glow like earthbound stars. The cobblestones are worn smooth by years of wagons and carts and feet. They gleam faintly in the moonlight. They are laid in careful patterns, some straight, some curved, and they lead you forward, gently, without any need for direction. You walk, or drift, toward a modest brick house. It stands on a corner, unassuming but solid. The bricks are deep red, almost brown in the darkness. The mortar between them is pale, making a grid of soft lines. The windows are dark, except for one on the upper floor. And on that upper floor, there is a balcony. It is a small balcony, wrought iron railings, just enough for one or two chairs. And on that balcony, an old man is sitting. He has a broad forehead, high and thoughtful. His spectacles are pushed up on his head, resting in his gray hair. His hair is long and gray, it falls to his shoulders, not unkempt but free. He wears a simple coat, even in the cool night air. The coat is brown, woolen, a little worn at the cuffs. It has kept him warm through many winters, and many long nights. And he is looking at the stars through a small telescope. The telescope is brass. It gleams softly in the moonlight. It is not a large instrument, not the kind used in great observatories, but it is enough to bring the stars a little closer, enough to reveal the moons of Jupiter, the rings of Saturn, the craters of the moon, the phases of Venus. He has spent many nights with this telescope, many happy hours, but as you watch, he sets down the telescope. He places it carefully beside his chair, its brass legs folding neatly, and he simply gazes with his naked eyes. His eyes are deep set, framed by lines of thought and laughter. His expression is not one of intense study. It is not the expression of a man trying to solve a problem. It is peaceful, almost childlike, full of wonder and contentment, as if he is seeing the stars for the first time. This man is known for his curiosity. His curiosity is legendary. It has become part of the story of this land. He once chased lightning with a key and a kite, standing in a thunderstorm, feeling the electric fire crackle down the string. He proved that lightning is electricity, that the heavens obey natural laws. He invented stoves and lamps and wise sayings. He gave the world the Franklin stove, the lightning rod, bifocal glasses. He wrote almanacs full of wit and wisdom, sayings that are still repeated today. Early to bed and early to rise. A penny saved is a penny earned. He spoke with kings and commoners alike. He dined with monarchs in Europe, and sat in humble taverns at home. He helped draft declarations and treaties. He shaped the destiny of nations. But tonight, he is none of those things. Tonight, he is not the inventor, not the diplomat, not the publisher, not the author of Poor Richard's Almanac. Not the founder of a university or a library or a fire department. Tonight, he is just a man, just a tired, content soul. Grateful for the silence, grateful for the gift of a quiet night, grateful for the simple ability to sit and look and breathe. You feel yourself drawn up onto the balcony. There are no stairs you need to climb. You simply rise, like a feather lifted by a warm draft of air, and you stand beside him, though he does not seem to notice you, or perhaps he does, and simply accepts your presence, the way the night accepts every star, the way the river accepts every drop of rain, the way the earth accepts every fallen leaf. He breathes deeply, in and out, and you find yourself breathing with him, your breaths synchronize, slow and steady. He speaks, but not in the way you expect. His voice is not the voice of a great orator. It is soft, it is low, it is almost a murmur. It might be the wind talking, or the stars themselves. He says, I have spent my life chasing knowledge, trying to understand the lightning, the ocean currents, the ways of man. I have filled notebooks with observations, libraries with books. I have written letters to the wisest minds of our age. I have performed experiments in rooms filled with wires and jars and magnets. But this quiet, this simple, silent, star-filled quiet, this is the greatest mystery of all. How can a simple absence of noise be so full of peace? He pauses, and you see his eyes glisten just a little. The moonlight catches the moisture there, making it shimmer, not with tears of sadness, no sadness here, but with the moisture of deep, quiet joy, the joy of a man who has finally understood something essential. He continues, his voice even softer now. I used to think that progress was about noise, about declarations and inventions and the loud march of history, about printing presses that clatter, about crowds that cheer, about cannons and bells and the shouts of revolution. But now I know, after all these years, the truest progress is silent. It happens in the heart, at night, when no one is watching. It happens in the quiet moment between one breath and the next. It happens in the stillness, in the dark, in the peace. He leans back in his wooden chair. The chair creaks just once, a soft, familiar sound, a sound he has heard 1,000 times. It is the sound of an old chair welcoming an old friend. He folds his hands over his stomach, his fingers interlaced, resting gently on his coat, and he lets out a long, slow sigh, not a sigh of frustration, not a sigh of disappointment, but a sigh of release, of letting go of all the day's ambitions and worries, of releasing the need to achieve, to prove, to strive, a sigh that says, I am done for today, and that is enough. You look out at the view from his balcony. The rooftops of Philadelphia slope away below. They are a jumble of gables and chimneys and dormer windows. Some roofs are shingled with cedar, some with slate, some with simple wooden shakes. They overlap and interlock, like a patchwork quilt of their own. The streets between them are dark ribbons, winding toward the river. The Delaware River glimmers in the distance. It is a broad, silver road under the moonlight. It flows southward, toward the bay, toward the sea, and beyond the river, the dark outline of the land, the forests and fields and hills, the orchards and pastures and marshes, all of it sleeping, all of it breathing, all of it resting under this same, gentle sky. He speaks again, even softer now. When I was younger, I thought I could perfect the world with my ideas. I had so many ideas, so many plans. I thought if I just worked hard enough, I could fix everything. I could eliminate error, banish folly, make the world reasonable and good. But I have learned, slowly, through many failures, that the world does not need fixing. It needs tending, like a garden, with patience and gentleness, and a willingness to let things grow in their own time. You cannot force a plant to bloom. You can only provide the soil and the water and the sun, and then you must wait. His words settle into you like warm stones. They feel solid and reassuring. They sink deep into your mind and find a resting place there. You realize this is wisdom, not the loud, declarative kind, not the kind that shouts from podiums or prints in bold type, but the quiet, earned kind, the kind that only comes from a long life, a life of trial and error, of success and failure, of ambition and disappointment, and finally, of peaceful acceptance. He looks up at the constellation Cassiopeia. It is hanging in the northern sky, its 5 bright stars forming a distinct shape. It looks like a W or an M, depending on the season, depending on how you look at it. He chuckles softly, a low, warm sound. Even the stars cannot decide what shape they are. Sometimes they are a W, sometimes an M, sometimes they are a crown, sometimes a chair. So why should we be so certain about the shape of our own lives? Why should we be so rigid, so fixed? Perhaps it is better to simply wonder, to simply gaze, to simply be, to let the shape of our lives emerge, slowly, naturally, like a constellation revealing itself in the dark. The air grows a little cooler, but it is not uncomfortable, not at all. It is the coolness that invites you to pull a blanket closer, to sink deeper into your chair, to let your eyelids droop. It is the coolness that says, rest is coming, and it is welcome. The old philosopher shifts in his seat. He reaches down, beside his chair, where a small table stands. On the table is a glass of water, simple and clear. He picks it up, slowly, carefully. The glass is cool in his hand. He sips it slowly, savoring it, as if the water itself were a rare wine, as if each drop were precious, worthy of attention. He says, gratitude, that is the secret, gratitude for the small things, the taste of water, so clean, so cool, the warmth of a coat, the light of a star, the feel of a chair that holds you comfortably. When you are grateful, you are never poor. Even if you have nothing else, you have the gift of noticing, and when you notice the small blessings, they multiply, they become a whole world of riches, and you are never truly awake. You simply drift, content. You feel such a wave of contentment now. It fills your whole body, from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. It is a warmth, despite the cool night, a warmth that comes from inside, from the deep knowing that all is well, that you have enough, that you are enough, that this moment, right here, is complete. He sets down the glass. It makes a soft, clear sound against the wooden table, and he closes his eyes. For a while, he is silent. The silence stretches out, comfortable, easy. The only sounds are the faint rustle of leaves down on the street, and the distant murmur of the river, and the slow, steady rhythm of your own breathing. You wonder if he has fallen asleep. His face is so peaceful, his breathing so even. Perhaps he has slipped into a light, sweet doze. But then he speaks one last time, his voice barely a whisper. The lightning was beautiful, so bright, so sudden, so powerful. It split the sky. It made my heart race. I felt the fire of the universe in my fingertips. But this stillness is divine, this quiet, this peace, this gentle, patient night. It is a gift greater than any discovery. I think I will stay here a little longer and count my blessings. Instead of sheep, he smiles, a gentle, crinkly-eyed smile. The skin around his eyes folds into familiar lines, lines that speak of decades of smiles, decades of laughter and warmth. And he lets his head rest against the back of his chair. The chair supports his head perfectly, as if it were made for this very moment. You can see his breathing slow. His chest rises and falls, in perfect rhythm with the distant tide of the river, in perfect rhythm with the slow, majestic will of the stars, in perfect rhythm with the deep, steady pulse of the earth itself. You feel your own head growing heavy. It lolls to the side, finding a cushion of soft, cool air. The air supports you. It holds you up. You do not need to hold your own head anymore. You can just let it rest. Let it be heavy. Let it sink into the invisible pillow of the night. The stars above Philadelphia seem to pulse very gently, not the harsh twinkle of a cold winter night, but a soft, warm pulse, like a heartbeat, as if they are breathing too, as if each star is a living soul, drawing in light, breathing out peace. The whole universe is breathing together, in one great, slow, synchronized sleep. The stars, the planets, the comets and the galaxies, all breathing, all resting, all dreaming, you. Think about this man's life, all the things he did, the things he wrote, the signs he put up, the Poor Richard's Almanac, with its homely wisdom, the experiments with electricity, so daring and so clever, the long years in London and Paris, negotiating for his young nation, the friendships with Voltaire and Hume and all the great minds of the age, the face on the $100 bill, the name on streets and schools and towns. But none of that matters now, none of the fame, none of the achievement, none of the legacy. What matters is this single moment, a man on a balcony, letting go, trusting the night, trusting the quiet, trusting that the world can turn without his constant attention. And you realize, you can do the same. You can let go of your own need to control. You can stop holding the world on your shoulders. You are not Atlas. The world does not need you to carry it. It knows how to spin on its own. It has been doing it for billions of years. You can trust. You can surrender. You can surrender to this vast, gentle night. You do not need to solve anything. Not tonight. You do not need to fix anything. Not tonight. You do not need to plan or worry or strive. Not tonight. You only need to rest. The philosopher's breath becomes a soft, rhythmic sound. It is almost like a lullaby, in a long, slow, silent stream of air. And out, a warm, gentle release. In and out, in and out. It merges with the rustle of the leaves, with the distant bark of a dog settling down for the night. The dog turns 3 times, and then curls into a tight ball, and sighs. It merges with the creak of the old brick house cooling, the bricks contracting gently as the night deepens, each small sound, another note in the lullaby. You can feel yourself becoming smaller, in the most comforting way, not insignificant, not meaningless, but held in something much larger than yourself. Held in the arms of a universe that has been sleeping and waking for billions of years, that has birthed stars and planets, that has seen countless sunrises, and you are part of it, a precious, irreplaceable part, a tiny, luminous point in the great web of being, and you are safe, completely, utterly safe. The moon rises a little higher. It has climbed further into the sky since you arrived. It casts a silver net over the rooftops. The net is made of light and shadow. It drapes over the chimneys. It pools in the alleyways. The philosopher's face is bathed in its light. The moonlight makes his skin look like marble, smooth and pale. He looks peaceful. Beyond words, all the lines on his face are soft now. All the wrinkles tell stories of laughter and wonder, not of worry, not of fear, not of regret. You feel a presence beside you. It is not a person, not a ghost, not an angel. It is a feeling, a quality. It is warm and golden, like the last rays of sunset. It is the feeling of gratitude itself. It wraps around you like a soft shawl, a shawl woven from threads of gold and silver. It settles on your shoulders, light as air, and it whispers, in a voice that is not a voice. You have done enough for today. You have done enough, and you are enough. You can rest now. Tomorrow will take care of itself. The sun will rise. The birds will sing. The world will continue its beautiful, endless dance. And you can rest. And you believe it. You truly believe it. Not with your mind, but with your heart. With the deep, quiet knowing that lives in your bones. So you let the shawl wrap tighter. You let it cover your shoulders, your arms, your chest. You let the philosopher's breathing guide yours. You let the stars roll slowly overhead, and you slip, gently, effortlessly, into the deepest sleep yet. The last thing you perceive, before the dream folds around you completely, is the old man's hand resting on the arm of his chair, the fingers slightly curled, relaxed, as if holding an invisible gift, the gift of this silent night, the gift of rest, the gift of freedom from all striving, the gift of simply being. And you know, without needing to be told, without needing any words or explanations, that this gift is yours too, always has been, always will be. It has been waiting for you all your life, waiting for you to slow down enough to receive it, and now you have, now you are receiving it. Sleep now, sleep in the arms of this quiet wisdom, sleep in the peace of this Philadelphia night, sleep in the glow of the philosopher's grateful smile, sleep, and let the lightning rest, let the lightning rest in the clouds, let the mind rest in the deep, soft darkness, let the world rest, and let yourself rest with it. The balcony grows still, the old man has fallen completely asleep, his head is nestled against the back of his chair, his breath is a soft, slow tide, the telescope stands beside him, quiet and patient, the glass of water still holds a tiny reflection of the moon, the stars continue their ancient watch, and you are deeply, deeply asleep, carried into the heart of the night, by the gentle wisdom of a philosopher who knew that the greatest gift of all is a quiet moment. Under the stars, now the night has reached its deepest point. It is that hour when time itself seems to pause, when the whole world holds its breath. It is the hour just before dawn, but dawn is still a distant thought, a faint promise, whispered on the horizon, not yet a reality, not yet even a glimmer. Only the deepest, richest darkness. You find yourself on a shore, a wide, empty shore. It stretches away in both directions, curving gently with the bay. The sand is cool and fine beneath you. It feels like powdered silk against your skin. Your feet sink into it just slightly, and the sand receives them. It holds the shape of your footprints for a moment, and then lets them go. The ocean stretches out before you, endless. It is a vast, breathing darkness. It meets the sky at a horizon that is almost invisible, just the faintest line, where darker dark meets slightly lighter dark. The waves come in and go out, so slowly, so rhythmically, like the breath of a sleeping giant. Each wave is a long, soft exhale. Each retreat is a slow, patient inhale. The sky here is still full of stars. They have not yet begun to fade. They are as bright as they have been all night. They crowd the sky. From the zenith to the edges of the world, there are so many stars, you could never count them. You could only gaze, and let their light fall on your upturned face. But at the very edge of the horizon, where the ocean meets the sky, there is the faintest hint of deep blue. Not yet light, not even a paleness, just a softening of the black. The first suggestion that night will one day end, but not yet, not for a long, long while. There are hours of darkness left, hours of peace, hours of sleep. You walk along the shore, your bare feet leave gentle impressions in the wet sand. The sand near the water is firm and dark, it holds your footprints clearly, but the waves soon smooth them away. They come in, a thin sheet of silver-edged water, and when they retreat, your footprints are gone. The sand is smooth again, ready for new steps, erasing your footprints, and you do not mind, because you are not trying to leave a mark. You are not here to build a monument, or write your name. You are only here to feel, to breathe, to be. The air on the shore is different from the air inland. It is salter, fresher, it moves more freely. It has traveled across thousands of miles of open ocean. It has touched distant lands, distant storms, and now it touches you, cool and clean. It fills your lungs with every slow breath. It carries the scent of the sea, and the faint sweetness of distant dunes. Further along the beach, you see something. It is a small arrangement, pale against the darker sand. Someone has gathered pieces of driftwood, pale, salt-bleached branches, smoothed by the sea. Wood that has traveled far, tumbling in the waves for months or years. Its bark has been stripped away, its edges are rounded and soft, and someone has arranged these pieces on the sand, forming letters, forming a word. You step closer, your footsteps silent on the wet sand. The word is hope. Each letter is carefully placed. The H is formed by 2 straight pieces and 1 cross piece. The O is a twisted circle of driftwood, perfectly shaped by the waves. The P is a curved branch with a shorter straight piece. The E is 3 short branches and 1 long one. The wood is light gray against the darker sand. It is simple, beautiful, a message left for no one in particular, and for everyone. You stand before the word. The waves hiss softly behind you, the stars watch overhead, and you feel its meaning sink into you, not as an idea, not as a concept to be analyzed, but as a sensation, a warmth in your chest, a loosening in your shoulders, a gentle expansion of your heart. Hope is not loud, it does not shout, it does not demand attention, it does not wave banners or beat drums, it does not insist on its own importance, it simply waits, like this word on the sand, waiting for the tide, knowing the tide will come, trusting that even when the water washes it away, the idea remains, the hope itself remains. It cannot be washed away, because it is not made of wood, it is made of something deeper. You kneel down beside the word, the sand is cool against your knees, and you touch one of the driftwood letters. It is smooth, incredibly smooth, smoother than any wood you have ever felt. The sea has polished it to a silky finish, and it is slightly warm, as if it holds the memory of the sun that shone on it as it floated across the ocean, the sun that warmed it as it lay on the shore. You think about the person who placed it here, who gathered the wood, who bent down in the sand, who arranged these letters with care, perhaps a fisherman, leaving before dawn, pushing his small boat into the surf, looking up at the stars one last time, and leaving this word behind, as a gift to the next soul who walks the shore. Perhaps a mother, walking with her child, the child asleep in her arms, heavy with dreams. She could not sleep, so she came to the sea, and she spelled out the word that keeps her going. Perhaps a young soldier, on his way to a distant battle. He knows he may never return, he knows the future is uncertain, but he wants to leave something gentle behind, something that will do no harm, only good. Whoever it was, they wanted to leave hope, not hope as a command, not hope as an obligation, but hope as an offering, a quiet gift. A wave comes in, it is a little higher than the last, it reaches the edge of the word, it licks at the letter H, a thin sheet of water curling around the wood, and then it retreats, drawing back with a soft sigh. Another wave comes, a little higher this time, it nudges the letter H, turning it slightly, the crosspiece shifts, but the letter still holds its shape. The wave retreats again, the word is still there, a little moved, but still legible. For now, you sit down in the sand, you draw your knees up, or you stretch your legs out, whatever is most comfortable, and you watch the slow dance of the waves and the driftwood. It is hypnotic, the tide coming in, each wave slightly higher than the last, the wood shifting just a little, rolling a fraction of an inch, the letters still legible, still clear, the message still whole. Hope, hope, hope. The sea has a voice, a deep, sonorous voice. It speaks in long, rolling syllables. It does not use words, but you can understand it. It says, everything changes, and that is okay. The tide comes in, the tide goes out, the driftwood arrives, the driftwood departs, the empires rise, the empires fall, the people live, the people dream, but hope remains, in some form, in some heart, in some quiet word on the sand. It never truly disappears, it only changes shape, like the waves, like the clouds, like the stars. It endures. You lie back on the sand, it molds to your body, supporting you perfectly. The sand is cool, but not cold, it is the temperature of perfect rest. You look up at the stars, they are so many, so bright, but now they are slowly beginning to fade, just a little, just at the very edges of the sky. The sky at the horizon is now a deep, royal blue. The black is softening, warming, still dark, but with the faintest promise of color. You think about the colonies, all those sleeping towns and farms, all those people dreaming of liberty, the red-haired dreamer by the river, the mother and her patchwork quilt, the old printer and his quiet words, the philosopher on his balcony, all of them, sleeping under this same sky. They do not know exactly what the future holds. They do not have a map of the years to come. They cannot see the struggles and the triumphs that await, but they hope for a nation where people can speak freely, where they can worship freely, or not worship at all, where they can live freely, not under the shadow of a distant crown. They hope for a nation of laws, not of men, a nation where every voice matters, and that hope is like this word on the sand. It may be fragile, made of driftwood and longing. It may be shifted by forces beyond anyone's control, by the tides of history, by the storms of war, by the slow erosion of time, but it does not wash away entirely. It reforms, it reconfigures, it endures. The pieces may scatter, but someone always gathers them again, and spells the word anew. The waves continue their gentle rhythm. They have been doing this since the earth was young, since the first ocean formed, since the first tide turned. They will do it until the last ocean dries. And their rhythm is the rhythm of eternity. You feel as if you are being rocked in a huge, watery cradle. The sound of the ocean fills your ears, and it is the most soothing sound in the world. It blocks out all other thoughts, all other noises, all other worries. There is only the sea, and the stars, and the word hope on the sand. You remember an old story, a story you heard long ago, or perhaps a story you are dreaming now, about a ship that sailed into this very harbor, a ship full of people seeking a new life. They had suffered so much persecution in their homeland, their churches burned, their homes seized. Poverty so deep they had forgotten what it felt like to be full. Loss, so much loss, children buried at sea, parents left behind. And yet, when they saw the shore, when they saw the trees and the sand and the wide, open sky, they wept, not with sorrow, but with relief, with hope. They knelt in the sand, and gave thanks. They knew they would face more hardship. They knew the wilderness was unforgiving, but they had a chance, a new beginning, and that was enough. And their descendants built a nation on that hope. The same hope that now fizzes quietly in your chest, like the tiny bubbles in a glass of cool water. It is refreshing, it is life-giving, it is gentle beyond measure. It rises in you, not as excitement, but as a quiet, steady warmth. It is the hope that carried those early settlers. It is the hope that built the little houses and the churches and the schools. It is the hope that wrote the documents and sang the songs. And it is the hope that sits with you now, on this shore, watching the tide come in. The tide rolls in higher now. The waves are reaching further up the sand. They begin to cover the word. The letter H is lifted, and floats a little. It bobs on the surface, then turns, and drifts a few inches. Then the letter O, it rolls, a perfect circle spinning in the foam. Then the P, it separates into its two pieces, the curve and the stem. The E breaks apart, its three small branches scattering, one by one. The letters are taken back by the sea. The driftwood floats on the dark water, moving with the waves, returning to the ocean from which it came. But you do not feel sad. There is no sadness here, no loss, because you know the sea is not destroying the word. It is absorbing it, taking it into itself, mixing it with the salt and the foam and the moonlight, so that hope is everywhere now, in every wave that touches the shore, in every drop of spray that kisses your face, in every tear of joy that has ever been shed. Hope is in the sea now, and the sea is everywhere. The word dissolves, the driftwood drifts away, but the beach remains, wide and smooth and clean, and the sky remains, full of fading stars, and you remain, breathing slowly, deeply, peacefully. The hope has not disappeared, it has only changed form. It has become the sea, the sky, the sand, the air, It has become you. The first light of dawn is beginning to creep over the horizon now. It is not a sudden blast of brightness, not a fanfare of trumpets, not a dramatic unveiling. It is a gradual, gentle illumination. The deep blue becomes lavender, a soft, delicate hue. The lavender becomes soft pink, like the inside of a seashell. The pink becomes pale gold, warming the edge of the world, and the stars, one by one, bid you good night. They do not go out suddenly, they simply fade, like candles blown out by the softest breath. The sea reflects these colors. It looks like a vast sheet of silk, dyed with the softest pastels, lavender and pink and gold, all blending together. The waves roll in, carrying those colors to the shore. They sound like a choir of whispers, singing you into the last and deepest stage of sleep. You think about the declaration, that document that will be written soon, perhaps, in a warm room in Philadelphia, by men who have dreamed. It will begin with words about the laws of nature, about the decent respect owed to humanity, about the self-evident truths that all are created equal. But its true beginning is here, on this shore, in this hope, in this slow, certain faith that a better world is possible. The declaration is just the driftwood, shaped into letters. The hope is the sea that carries it, and the sea is eternal, and you realize that you carry that hope within you. Everyone does. It is part of being alive. The hope for a freer, kinder, gentler existence. The hope for children to laugh without fear, for neighbors to share without suspicion, for the world to be just a little softer, a little warmer. And that hope, like the driftwood, can float through the darkest waters, through the storms and the swells, through the long, lonely nights, and still arrive on some distant shore, having lost nothing of its essence, worn smooth by the journey, but intact. Your breathing is so slow now, it matches the rhythm of the waves. 7 seconds in, a long, cool stream, a gentle pause, the stillness between breaths. 8 seconds out, a warm, soft release. The dawn is still far from full sunrise. It is only the first hint, the first whisper. The world is still wrapped in a soft, pre-dawn hush. You can imagine the people in the colonial towns, slowly beginning to stir, but not yet, not quite yet. Their roosters are still silent, their dogs are still curled on the hearths, they are still dreaming, still wrapped in their patchwork quilts, still holding on to the last threads of night. And in their dreams, they see a flag with 13 stripes of red and white, for the 13 colonies, a constellation of stars on a field of blue, a new constellation. Not the ancient ones in the sky, but a new one, shaped by hope. But those dreams are not loud or brash, they are soft, like the flag itself would be if it were made of silk, rippling in a gentle breeze. You feel a deep connection to all of them, to the red-haired dreamer by the river. You can feel his quiet, steady hope, to the mother and her patchwork quilt. You can feel her gentle, enduring love. To the old philosopher on his balcony, you can feel his grateful, peaceful wisdom. To the printer in his quiet study, you can feel his careful, patient words. To every farmer, every blacksmith, every seamstress, every child, every elder, every soul who ever looked up at these stars, they are all part of you, and you of them, bound together by this shared night, by this shared hope. The word hope may be washed away from the sand, but it is written now on your heart, and on the hearts of all those dreamers, where no tide can reach it, where no storm can erase it. It is permanent, a gentle tattoo, a quiet pulse, beneath the skin of the soul, a reminder that even in the deepest dark, something is growing, something is waiting to be born. The sky brightens just a little more. The gold at the horizon spreads, warming the whole eastern sky. A few clouds appear, very high and very thin. They catch the first light, turning pink and coral. The first seagull calls, a soft, sleepy sound, not harsh, not abrupt, not the raucous cry of noon, just a gentle hello to the newborn day, a tentative greeting. As if the goal is not quite sure the night is over, the sea keeps breathing, its waves steady and slow, the sand keeps shifting, always rearranging, always new, and you keep sinking deeper and deeper into the most peaceful slumber. You feel the sun just beginning to warm your skin. It is still below the horizon, but its light is reaching you, and it is not a hot sun, it is the mild, golden sun of early morning. It wraps around you like a blanket of light, not heavy, not oppressive, just warm and gentle, and you know, without opening your eyes, without moving a muscle, that the night has been good to you, that you have traveled far in your dreams, through the sleeping town, through the printer's candlelight, down by the river, under the oak tree, onto the philosopher's balcony, and now, to this shore. And you have arrived, safely, on the shore of a new day. But for now, you do not need to wake, the day can wait, it will be there when you are ready. You can stay here, on this edge between night and morning, suspended in the softest twilight, where hope lives, where freedom lives, where all the kindest dreams live. You can rest a little longer, just a little longer. The word may be gone from the sand, but it is still here, in the rhythm of the waves, in the endless, patient breathing of the sea, in the light of the stars as they say their final farewells. They are fading now, one by one, returning to the blue, in the warmth of the rising sun, spreading across your skin, in the beating of your own slow, steady heart. That heart that has kept time with the night, that has beaten through every dream, that will beat through the day to come. But for now, it is resting, like you. You can rest now, completely. You have carried your hope through the night, and it has not burdened you. It has lifted you, floated you, carried you to this perfect, peaceful place. You have done what you needed to do. You have dreamed what you needed to dream. Now you can let go, even of this. Let the waves sing you to sleep. Their song is ancient. It has been sung for 1 billion years, and it will be sung for 1 billion more. Let the dawn be your gentle guardian. It will watch over you as the stars did, passing the watch from night to day, as it always has. Let the word hope be the pillow beneath your head, soft and supportive, and full of quiet promise. You are free. You have always been free. Freedom is not something you must earn, it is something you are, something you carry within, and you are deeply, deeply, endlessly asleep. The shore is quiet now. The wave patterns smooth the sand completely. The driftwood has drifted out to rejoin the sea. The stars have almost all gone, only the boldest remain, and the sun is just about to break the horizon. The sky is golden rose and soft, pale blue, and the world is beautiful, and you are part of it, and you are asleep, safe, in the freedom dreams under the stars.